Welcome to Martini Time. Beautiful day here in Blackstone, the center of the world. But then you too are the center of the world. So let's get going. I'm pumped up and ready to go. And it's not the gin. So this morning I thought was a really good talk on and the title ended up to be a seesaw too far, or a teeter-totter too far. You know what the seesaw is? It's the playground game where you have a seesaw and one side is up and the other side up, down, win, lose, win, lose. So we talked about patterns, and I used Trump as a example of a seesaw pattern. So I know people accuse me of getting political, but doggone it, I have to use what I got. I have to use examples, I have to use metaphors, analogies, and I have to use what we all have in common to expand the understanding. What's the truth here? That's the question I ask. What's the truth? You see, the truth is never the appearance, and everything is appearance. Everything we see is an appearance. What's the truth? So truth is not the appearance. What is it? We don't know. Well, what I'm pointing to, what I'm suggesting, what I see, what I share, is that the truth is the pattern. The pattern that the groundhog, you remember the movie Groundhog Day? That was the pattern. It repeated itself every day, same day. The people in the movie didn't know they were being repeated, but our hero did. He knew it was being repeated. He knew it was a pattern. He knew he was trapped in karma, but the people didn't. They were part of the karma. They were part of the pattern. They were all part of the Groundhog Day. It's a very interesting movie. So every repeated day had different content because he acted differently. And he acted differently trying to find a way out of the karma. Trying to find a way out of death and rebirth. Birth and death. Trying to find a way out of the cycle of time. Trying to find a way out of time. And thought. And pattern. You see, pattern is time. A pattern, like here's a pattern, whoop, right? Took time. You could measure it from here, whoop, to there. How long was that, you see? It was a pattern. But we don't see everyday life as a pattern because we just see the particular dot point on the pattern. See, every moment is a point on the pattern. But we can't connect the dots and see the pattern because all we see is this moment. So how do we see the pattern when everyone else around us just sees this moment, this dot? And yet we know this moment is part of a larger reality, otherwise we would be psychotic. We would every moment would be like, I don't know what's going on, I don't know where I am, I don't even know what is that? I don't know, I never saw it before. You see? We'd have to be Adam every moment. We'd have to rename everything, which is impossible. You see? So that's kind of like our worst fear of being lost in space, lost in the moment and not knowing where we are, who we are, what's going on. We don't know what the truth is. That's a nightmare. So obviously that doesn't happen, although we'd all be shooting ourselves. You see? So there is this coherent reality which we feel like we are in. So we feel like we're in this reality that contains us with the past and future. Space-time. And we feel like I'm in it. But we also feel like the reality we're in is different from me. I'm in something, but I'm not what I'm in, you see. And yet the spiritual path is saying just that you are the world and the world is you. That you are your perception. But then that has problems too. Well, then everybody's in their own world, you see, and there is no coherent one world that we're all in. Everybody's in their own little monad. Now, that doesn't make any sense, because then how are they connected? How can you communicate? How can you love somebody, you see? So a lot of problems with this. And I'm not afraid to go into it. I'll drag you into it. So we need some examples. Now, the example I worked with this morning, and all day I've been writing about it, is what is Trump's pattern? Now, Rachel Maddow, from the beginning, always said when you're looking and trying to understand Trump, and again, I don't mean to single Trump out, although I am, but we're all patterns. We all have a pattern that we're not seeing. Everything is a pattern, a routine, a ritual. So anyway, what was I saying? I forgot what I was saying. Okay. So, so I use Trump as and the pattern, the game or the pattern, the metaphor is the seesaw. Now the seesaw is a child playground game that we all recognize and love, and it has a pattern. You exchange up and down. I'm up, I'm down. I'm up, I'm down. Up, down, up, down, you see. But what if your pattern is to always be up? And so everything that happens has got to be framed and defined as being down. And you are always defined as being up. You see, that's like having an elevator with only up and no down. Or a faucet with only hot and no cold. See, old faucets, old bathrooms have a hot faucet and a cold faucet. You get hot and you get cold, and you kind of like mix it in the bowl. You pour them into the bowl and you get comfortable water. You don't get boiling water or freezing water. And then the more modern faucet mixes them for you. So you got one faucet instead of two, and you can adjust the water coming out of that instead of having to put it into the bowl, you see. It's graded. There's hot and cold, and you find the sweet spot. You find the Goldilocks porridge. Not too hot, not too cold, just right, you see. But if your pattern is, so this up and down, hot and cold, so if your pattern is to always have up, you see, that would be the way Trump frames the world. That's the art of the deal. The deal is you always win. You're always up. Now, as I was saying this morning, and I'll repeat it because I know some of you didn't see this morning's thing, Trump's strategy, the seesaw pattern, worked for him great when he was in real estate. But when you put that game in the playground of the president and the government, it doesn't work so well. It doesn't work so well because the government, the Congress, the Constitution, and the balance of powers is that everybody is going up and down. Nobody is always up. You see. So if your game is to always be up, that game is going to be out of sync with the playground, with the game of our constitutional government. It's like the president has to always be winning and up, you see. And so the public, we're kind of like the parents sitting on the park bench watching the kids play. So if one kid is a bully and he won't let other kids win, he bullies them into winning all the time, the parents will intervene. So we're the voters, you see. So we're going to intervene. We have to, because the game of being up all the time cannot sustain itself. It's not possible. Life will not support just up without a down, just hot without a cold, just hard without a soft. You see, life supports the pairs of opposites, and they always play for balance. Life plays for balance. In Avatar, the mother restores balance. Life is always balancing itself. But if you destroy the balance and just have up and no down, the mother will restore balance. And isn't that what's happening today with women rising up in all avenues, from all corners, with all issues? Whether it's Me Too or separating the Madonna and the Christ, the mother and child, that's a sacred bond. If you separate the mother from the child, you are profane. You are separating a sacred bond. Look at all the pictures of Mary and Christ. That's the mother and child, the sacred bond. You cannot separate that. And yet, in order to be up and not have any down, Trump separated them. So anyway, from all the different corners, you see, women are rising up. Just when he was inaugurated, there was a huge parade in all the cities of the world of women marching. And every new issue comes up is a violation of balance, is an ignorant violation of balance and the sacred bonds, you see. And the women rise up. The mother comes to restore balance. So I'm rather optimistic about November. I believe Avatar was scripture, a metaphorical scripture about us. I have a page called Avatar and the Voyage to Pandora. I wrote on it for a couple of years after I saw the movie. I go back to it once in a while when I have an inspiration. But that was a metaphor, a myth, a modern myth of us and how to heal the wound between the sky people and the Na'vi. You see. Anyway, I'll get into that another day. So let's drop this today. Thank you for dropping in. Share. Subscribe on YouTube. I'll see you in the morning at Buddha's in Your Landfill, or Buddhism Plain and Simple. Now this may not look like Buddhism, but it really is. It's my version of Buddhism. You see, I'm not a Buddhist. But I do practice the Dharma. I do practice seeing. That's Buddhism. I do practice being awake. That's Buddhism. I do practice enlightenment. That's Buddhism. I do practice Satori. Aha, I see. I see the pattern. That's Buddhism. Thanks for dropping in.